Hello, the internet. It is Friday, the 23rd of July, 2021, and welcome back to the channel. And welcome back to the 23rd day of July. Every day for the month of July, I go live right here on YouTube. Take the word July, take the word live, slide them together, you get Julive. Live streams every day for the month right here on YouTube. Sometimes this time of the day, sometimes a little later depending on the surf conditions. This morning it's blowing onshore from the northeast. No go. Stream time either way. Today 9 a.m. Tomorrow could be different. We'll see. We'll see. Underwhelming. A letdown. A massive letdown. These are all ways I've heard the description of the Blue Origin space flight that happened this week. Jeff Bezos and his brother and Wally Funk and some kid from the Netherlands went up into space on a rocket for a grand total of 3 seconds and then came back down. And that labels them astronauts. I want to talk to you guys about that. I want to ask you what you think about that. But before we get into that, I want to acknowledge the Chisel chat, because what will be a live stream without a chat? David says, I cannot wait to hear all about this on Friday, mate. Thank you, David. Then I said, hello, the internet. Giggle Pickles, I'm here, gives. Hello, Giggles, how you doing? Give you a little cheers. I'll give David a cheers too. David, Giggles. David Pretty-Bread. Hello, David. There's two Davids in the chat. Hello, Benon. Hey, Giggles and David. David's David and David. And Giggles and me. Hello. Smash that like button. And by the way, folks, that was actually a Stream Deck command. So the Stream Deck commands are working. Difference is you've got to be logged in for it to work. You've got to be live for it to work. So if you're wondering, if you're a streamer and you're thinking, man, how come my Stream Deck's not putting YouTube comments in anymore? The stream has to be live. It didn't used to be like that, but now it is. Oh, Gibbs, it's me at Davo88 from DLive as well. David, David88 is David2010. Okay, cool. Aero Gamer in the house. Yo, Dugsky, how you doing, man? Gibbs, Giggles, David and David. Giggles, hey, Davo. Hendrick's in the house. Yo, Hendrick. Oh, crikey. You still up from last night, or is this just are you still awake from last night? This is an anomaly. Giggle Pickles, hey Hendrick, Arrow, Giggles, hey Arrow, Dugsky, hey Pickles, Giggles. Hey guys, smash that like button. Appreciate the likes, folks. Really appreciate this. This has changed. I gotta tell you, this has changed. I don't know what happened to my trolls, but they obviously aren't here anymore. I'm seeing 5 likes and 8 watching. Thank you very much. Very much indeed. Let's put the Chisel chat up on the screen so we can all play along. Hendrick says, I couldn't sleep. Well, hopefully we can have a good chat here, Hendrick. I'd love to get your opinions on this. So, first of all, this is the stream. We watched this the other day. This is the... And by the way, I'll give you a little linky poo in the chat if you want to watch the stream yourself, because we're going to play a little of it, but I'm going to... There it is right there. There's the Blue Origin live stream. If you want to hit the whole rerun on your own leisure time, you're welcome to. We're not going to take the whole stream here today. We're going to just take a little section of it. And the section is... There's a little chart or a little infographic that shows you what this launch is. And for those that didn't see it or that haven't heard, basically a rocket ship shaped like a massive cock went into space. It went up. Then the penis, the head of the penis. And you might say, why is he talking like that? Dude, people designed this thing, right? And it looks like a massive cock. I don't know what they were thinking. Like, surely they could have shaped the edges or something. It just looks too much like a penis. Anyway, the massive cock shoots up into the sky. When it gets to before the Kármán line, so the Kármán, Kalilian, the Kármán line is the internationally recognized beginning of space. Either before or just as it hits that Kármán line, the head of the penis ejects, and the astronauts, we'll get to that in a moment, the astronauts that are inside the head of the penis, they get to experience 3 to 4 minutes of zero gravity before that thing reaches apogee, the same name as my audio interface, the Apogee Element 47. They reach their state of apogee, and then they come back down past the Kármán line, and then they start floating, basically, then gravity kicks in, and they come back down to Earth with your typical parachutes that you would expect for something falling out of the sky. There is a bunch of tech involved in this, no doubt, and I'm not trying to deny the tech. The tech is incredible, right? Like, I got goosebumps watching it, the big spaceship blasting up into the sky, little back of the neck kind of hair chills and all that stuff. It's incredible. I'm not going to deny it's incredible. But labeling it as a space flight and labeling these yahoos inside as astronauts, I'm going to say here from me, it's a big stretch. It's a huge stretch, right? First of all, now from this live stream, you don't really see much. There's a lot of tech issues. Yo, Kendall in the house. How you doing, man? Jeff was compensating, right, by making his rocket into a massive penis. So, yeah, on that stream, you don't really see space. Like when you watch movies and when you watch Star Trek and Red Dwarf, I was more of a Red Dwarf fan than anything else in space. But what do you see when you look outside those windows? You see like blackness and nebulas and red dwarfs and white dwarfs and spiraling galaxies and stuff. If these guys went into space and what we saw on that live feed was all they got, they didn't really get anything. They just got like a really lousy view of Earth behind, a lousy low res. I mean, they had it in their eyes as it would have been high res, but what we saw was lousy res. No black, no infinite galaxies with little twinkling stars, nothing. And all of it for 4 minutes. And then they get labeled as astronauts. These are the new astronauts. Dude, an astronaut is someone who's gone into space, hung out there and done something. Not just sat in the tip of a penis for 4 minutes, arguably less given that they've got to go up and then fasten seatbelts and it's all over. So it's just... It feels like, to me, this is incredible. No, not denying the incredibleness of it, but labeling it space flight and labeling them astronauts, it's almost like a marketing. It's like YouTube thumbnails, right? They're just doing it for the clicks. Now, arguably, anything shooting up into the atmosphere past the ozone into the Kármán line doesn't really need clickbait. That's a story of its own, which is pretty compelling. So, and the fact that it was in a massive cock as well, it's a compelling enough story. We don't need clickbait at that point, I don't think. Let me show you here just they're explaining how this will work.
To Earth in West Texas.
Okay, so T-0 is actually not the point of liftoff. It's when we send the command to start the engine. It lifts off about 7 seconds later.
So what you're seeing here on this chart is what I just said. The massive penis goes up into the sky, hits this Kármán line. Okay, it's just before the Kármán line where the tip of the cock shoots off. We'll just take the trajectory of the shaft for the time being. The shaft then goes on a bit of a jaunt of its own, also reaching slight amount of 0G. Then it starts coming back down, and in this point here, there is a lot of tech going on, right? Like, I don't want to come across. I don't want you guys to think I'm doing this to. This guy's not really understanding it. I understand what this is, and I understand how rad this is. So this shaft then comes back down to Earth on its own accord and lands back on a pre-designated pad. That's it. That's incredible of its own right. That's absolutely incredible. And these yahoos get 4 minutes of tip time, and then they come back down in a parachute sort of ensemble. And then there's a little piece of tech that lands down here. What happens when that gets close to the ground? Pretty rad. Let's just assume this is it. It's coming down, and before it hits the Earth, it blasts out like a massive cushion of air, and so it goes, and then it lands gently. I mean, look, props to Blue Origin and props to anybody involved in this, right? Incredible. But are we calling it space? And should these yahoos be labeled astronauts? Considering the only other astronauts we know are the ones that are up there to this day working on the space station, the ISS, and those yahoos who've set foot on the moon. Not entering into a discussion whether you believe that or not. Let's just take it as our history that it happened. They're astronauts, right? Old mate from Amazon and his brother, they just paid for it. Well, they own the company, or his brother. Jeff owns it, and he brought his brother along. Nice brother. Wally Funk, she went in space because she's always wanted to. She's a woman. She's always wanted to go to space, so they chucked her in. Off you go. You know? Human interest. And then old mate from the Netherlands, what was his name? Oliver Damon. He's a nobody, right? He's just a dude with a dad who's got a lot of money. His father literally paid $26 million to put him in the tip of that penis to go into space. So what I'm saying is, you often hear people say money doesn't buy happiness. 26 million bought Damon Oliver the status of an astronaut to rival Armstrong and all the others. That's a lot of happiness. Money just bought that. Let me read the chisel chat. Hendrik said the press conference shows some footage from inside the capsule. Yeah, so what we saw on this thing here was the live feed. Obviously pretty patchy, let's not deny that they're sending a live stream from space. And you know how hard it is to do a live stream IRL, a lot of technical issues. Well, yeah. Giggles, I don't think they should be called astronauts, but they can be called astronauts. That's a term that they used in this exact press, or in this live feed from Blue Origin. They were calling the astronauts, or the team members that did all the pre-prep and all the pre-flight testing and everything. They were basically doing everything except climaxing. They were calling them astronauts. They're the ones that are not going into space. I'd argue no one went into space. I mean, okay, the Kármán line, right? The Kármán line, 100 kilometers up, great. They call that space. It's an internationally recognized cutoff of space. Great. If you got that far, wouldn't you think you'd want to go up there for 3 or 4 days, do a circumnavigation of the planet, check all the satellites are working, maybe swing by the ISS and give them a thumbs up from the window, something like that. Like, it's like, the equivalent is like, let's say you live in a landlocked state of America, and we've got people in the chat, maybe not here, but definitely on DLive, that don't have access to the coast. Imagine this. You got your 3-week or your 4-week vacation at the end of the year, and you spent 5 years building up to this. We're going to go to the coast, folks. We're going to go California surfing. Yeah. And so you travel for days to get to the coast. You travel for days. You spend heaps of money. You rent an Airbus, or you rent a Cybertruck, a Cybervan. You somehow got on top of the brand new Cybervans shaped like a massive vagina, because this is a massive penis. So we got to have the opposite. And you spend 3 days driving across the American states, zigzagging through all the beautiful, famous route spots and blah, 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 looking, and everyone's having a great time. And you get to the coast, and all you do is you tap your foot in the water, and then you get back in your car and come home. That's the equivalent, right? You spend all this time, all of this excitement, all this build-up, all these years of planning and all this financial cost to get to the coast, and when you got there, you didn't even get in the water. You just touched it with your toes. Then you turned around and came home. It's kind of the same thing here. If you're going to do all that stuff, and you're going to get all the media and all the sponsors and all that, everything that goes into it, wouldn't you want to make it earth-shatteringly amazing? Like, we've heard comments in my chat about the flat earth community and how we could bust that theory right up the wazoo, and the only way to do it would be to actually go around the planet, right? You go up into space, 100 kilometers up, and Hendrik, you've said this to me as well. You look back on the Earth and you're not going to see a globe Earth at that low altitude. You've got to actually go around the Earth. And when when you're up there, you might as well, right? Why not? While you're at the coast, get in and have a swim. Get in, enjoy the water. You're up, you're right there. It's right there. You've done all the... it's unbelievable. If you dip it in, you're not a virgin anymore. Doesn't matter how long it takes. Crikey. Hendrik, SpaceX's Inspiration 4 mission will be proper orbital space flight. Okay. So when does that happen, Hendrik? How long have we got to wait? Because this thing here, they're popping off again two more jaunts before the end of this year. By the way, anybody can partake if you want. If you've got a spare 26 mil lying around. I got a $5. I'm on the way, right? I'm on the way to that. Oh, you need more? Oh, okay, sorry. I mean, I was just going to put a down payment on it, that's all. Yeah, if you happen to have a spare 26 mil kicking around and you want to go into space and you want to come back an astronaut, off you go. I mean, the similar argument would be, if I make my way into the cockpit of a plane, do I then become a pilot just because the plane flew from here to LA and I was in the pilot's cabin? I did all the training. I went and read the books. Am I now a pilot? Hell no. They're not astronauts. They're just... You know what this was? If I could speak frankly, I believe I am speaking frankly, this was a media build-up. It was a race between Bezos and Branson, right? We even saw, not on this stream's not labeled, this stream's labeled New Shepard First Human Flight. I believe that's changed because it used to have the word space flight in there and there was a date after it. And the thing with that is that Virgin and Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, they did this last week in a completely different approach. They didn't have a penis lifting off from Earth and the tip ejecting. They had a pretty unique take on it. You probably saw this, right? You've probably seen it. But they had a strange aircraft that would literally just fly off a runway like any other plane. And in between the two planes, two kind of wing sections, was the spacecraft. Once the plane was at a high enough altitude, around about, I think it was 45,000 feet, a little higher than a commercial jet, just not much. That's when they drop the rocket, or the penis in this case, they drop it, and the rocket just jacks off and does a big arcing loop and goes straight up into a little lower than this actually. Didn't quite get as high as these yahoos, but the same thing. And they were all labeled, those dudes in that thing were labeled astronauts, and we're space flights. And I was like, that's a stretch. That's a huge stretch. But if they're going to compete with Blue Origin for the same thing, then they have to use the same terminology, right? They can't say, well, Virgin did it, but they did subspatial, and we did nominal spatial, or something. Like, it has to be the same thing because they're competing for the same thing, the same trophy. So they got to label it the same. But it's intriguing that it has changed. Either it's changed here or we watched a different rerun. I'll have to check my DLive rerun to see, but I'm pretty damn certain that said New Shepard First Human Spaceflight, and then there was even a date behind it to datarize it. SpaceX's mission September 15. Oh wow, that's early. So that's not that dang. That's cool to hear, Hendrik. Okay, well, I guess we'll be watching that. And who gets to go into that craft? And is that on the Falcon Heavy or something? Is that on one of those, legitimate looking space traveling craft? Or is that another penis? Giggles, you can't be called a surfer if you've never surfed. I mean, maybe there's got to be a new term, because these yahoos arguably It's an autonomous vehicle, so there's not a lot that you've got to do. You might say, well, there wasn't a lot what the astronauts had to do to go to the moon. They were all controlled by mission control back on Earth. I mean, arguably yes, and arguably no. In this instance, these yahoos quite literally just sat in the tip and waited. I mean, they couldn't even use the intercom thing correctly. Wally Funk didn't even know how to... You got to press that button. Then there was also a sketchy part where, at one point, you hear someone on the intercom say, no, don't pull that. Giggles. It was literally like, don't pull that one. Someone was like, don't pull that, don't pull that. And then there was a 6 or 7 minute hold pattern where they were like, we put a hold before we launch just to make sure everything's right. And it's like, yeah, because whoever that was that pulled that cable shouldn't have. And they're checking it. I'm sure that was it. I mean, I don't know, but do you want to take a look at the actual Giggles? I was completely disappointed with the launch. It's a 3-day mission aboard the Crew Dragon that went to the ISS on top of Falcon 9. Oh wow, Hendrik, hell yeah. Let's take a look at this. Oh shit. Loud. We have liftoff. Now watch this drone shot.
The ship has cleared the tower.
That's rad.
And New Shepard has cleared the tower on our way to space with our first human crew.
Look at that penis fly.
Go,
That's a
Jeff,
rad
go,
drone
Mark,
shot.
Go, Wally, go, Oliver. You are going to space.
Go Wally. So you can't deny how rad that is, right? That's insane. But of course, so are fireworks. And paying customers, Hendrik, is that right? Okay. Okay, cool.
Oh my goodness, listen to the roar of the BE-3.
And when
engine.
did
We are just
Elon
about
Musk
to
say
pass through
moon landings?
Maximum dynamic pressure. That was when the stresses on the vehicle are at their maximum.
Max Q.
Max Q is confirmed.
Max Q.
Beautiful burn on that BE-3 engine.
And now if you wanted to get any more phallic, the person shooting this is having trouble keeping it in the center of frame, and so there is a wobble effect, which does look like penis entering space, something. I don't know. I mean, if you wanted to meme this, it'd be very easy to do. I'm sure someone's done it.
Mach 1.
And liquid oxygen as the propellant is a nice, not just clean
Getting it
in terms
on.
of
I mean,
beautifully
come on.
performed, but what comes out
I feel like they did that on purpose, right? I feel like that was part of it. We're going to make a massive cock-shaped spacecraft, and as it gets up into the sky, we're going to pretend that it's going up and down like this. All they needed was like a little, like just a cloud that would go past that looked like Quagmire. All you'd need is a Quagmire cloud to go past, and they'd be like, giggity, giggity, giggity. That's what, I mean, look, I'm not making this up. This is what happened, right?
out of it, it's steam, right?
It is steam. Very steamy.
To see the
Yeah, baby.
the glow.
I mean, it's even got a little slot in the top that looks like a penis. You can't make this up. I wish you could. I wish this was fake. It's not.
Of the engine underneath the rocket, just under our shoulders, and to know that we've got a crew that is going to space.
I'm dying from the shaking. Kendall, did look? I'm not overly sexualizing this. I'm just saying what I see, and I'm not the only one to see this. I think everybody that watched this saw this. I'm dying from the shaking. It should, and this unfortunately or fortunately, however you take this takes away from the ingeniousness of what we're seeing here, right? This is a beautiful moment in our history. It's almost been made light of by very virtue of the shape they chose to use, and whether this is done intentionally or not. Like it's. Let's not forget there are 4 humans inside the tip here. And this could have all gone wrong. They could have all, heavens above, it could have exploded, right? And would we be giggling at that? Would we be laughing at that? No, we would not. So let's not, like, as much as I'm seeing the humor value here, it's also deadly serious. But then again, they made the craft. They would have sat down with it going, Okay, this is going to be blasted across media everywhere. Everybody's going to be watching this. What could possibly be wrong with this design? And I'm 100% certain dudes back in the 17 years ago would have been like, looks like a cock. And they would have been like, it does. However, spatial awareness and aerodynamics and this has to be... Dude, it looks like a massive penis. We understand. You asked us to come in here and tell you your feedback. You're going to put this out there into the media's hands? They're going to say, massive penis. And they would have been like, okay, thank you for your help. Now let's continue on with our job. They would have just been like, okay, well, we'll live. And maybe they did it for their own benefit. Maybe they were like, dudes, space travel interest is at an all-time low. Bring on a massive flying cock. Hey, it sells itself, doesn't it? In fact, if they branded it that way, well, they couldn't because it takes the humor value too far. But imagine that they said, yeah, our plan is to put a massive penis into space. Eventually, we're going to do the honorable thing and we're going to make one that looks like a vagina and they're going to meet. And we're going to form our own space station. We're going to put a vagina and a penis together up in space. Then we're going to build the legs. We're going to build the torso. We're basically putting, you know, a massive structure up there that looks like a human being because humans are in space. They could have... It's a big reach, a big stretch, but... It would have been great if you were commenting as it happened live. Aero Gamer, funny you should mention that. I'm going to be doing commentary of Australia playing... So not the... By the way, the Olympics today. Olympic Games 2020 starts today. Almost 2 years late. I'm going to be running commentary on Australia's Socceroos, their bid for the World Cup next year, the year after. When's the World Cup? 2024. So Australia's road to the World Cup. We got to do some games to get there, and I'm going to do commentary. Of course, it'll be strange because I won't be able to play the game or have any noise. I might do some generic soccer noises behind. That's the first time I'm ever gonna do commentary. But yeah, we didn't do it for this. But let's continue with Big Cock Fly.
It feels different, doesn't it, Gary?
It is totally different.
She's laughing at that. They're all laughing at that. Come on.
Of course, the speedometer in the bottom left.
Come on.
The altimeter.
Look how much it's bouncing.
Middle of the screen there. So far appears.
You know how they could have avoided that? Have the shot wider and then crop in and hold it. Like you could have had an algorithm that holds it in the center. Ollie Roos beat Argentina last night in their first game at the Olympics. So I'm actually not going to watch the Olympics soccer. I'm just going to watch the skateboarding because it's the first time skateboarding's ever been in the Olympics. But I will be watching the Socceroos road to Ghana. Qatar.
A nominal flight.
Look at that massive penis fly.
All right, coming up here on Miko, main engine cutoff. That will be followed shortly by separation. And at that point, after separation, we're going to let the astronauts unbuckle and take in the freedoms of zero-G. There is Miko, main engine cutoff. A beautiful shot down the New Shepard rocket. Look at that view.
They held this shot for so long too. It's really out of focus because of the atmospheric interference.
Awaiting separation here.
Do you know what I really, really, really want to see? And I don't know why they don't do this. Think about this. Why aren't we seeing this from the perspective of the space station? Why does space launches always get shot from Earth? We've got heaps of things in low Earth orbit. Elon's got Starlink flapping around everywhere. Why can't we put a camera on those and get the angle from looking back at Earth? Imagine seeing the rocket come up. Dude, I mean, I'm no space scientist, but this angle, come 2021, it's a little tedious, right? Let's get more angles. We've got all the crap up there. Let's put cameras on them. Quick pop quiz. How many kilometers from Earth is the ISS? Just wondering, because I know we're only at about, well, we only go to a maximum 100 kilometers here. How many more kilometers to the space station?
And here we are. You can start to see. Stand by. You're going to see the separation of the capsule from the booster itself.
So they're already in zero G, and the tip is going to eject now, or very soon. And this is where it becomes a massive letdown for me. Don't forget to look out the window. Oh, of course. No, I'm going to look down at my shoes. We're hearing audio from the tip. ISS is 400 kilometers up. Okay. So less 100 or so for the Kármán line. Imagine that shot looking back. That would look rad. You'd definitely see it, right? You'd be able to track in on it. That'd look rad. I mean, let's not forget that those astronauts that are on the ISS, they know when all these launches happen. They'd be looking at it. They'd be watching it. Oh, they're going to do a launch. Wicked, man. Hey, come over here to this window. Check this out. Look, there it is. They'd be watching it for sure. So we got separation there. You can't quite see because it's
And there we go. Our astronauts have passed the Kármán line at about 328,000 feet, continuing their ascent. You see the two vehicles there. When the speed hits zero, you know that they've hit apogee, their maximum altitude, and you hear they're having quite an experience.
So that's space. I don't want to break it to you, but that just looks like day sky, right? Like someone said in the chat on DLive yesterday, you can pay $4,000 to go onto a 0G jet. $4,500 to take 3 minutes of 0G in one of these fast flying jets. Be a very, very similar experience. There has been footage of launches taken from the ISS. So why aren't we keying that in? Like, why don't they patch that in as like, dudes, this is Blue Origin to the ISS. We got a launch coming up today. It's our first human space flight. You guys already have the cameras on. Can you just RTMP that feed back to us? Yeah, just plug that HDMI cable in and RTMP it back down to here, and I'll give you the login to my Restream.io, and off we go. We'll get a third angle if you don't mind. Are you guys busy up there, or is everything cool? Oh no, we're just playing chess. Hey, oh okay, chess, cool. Well, yeah, if you don't mind, just put the chess game on hold. I'll give you the countdown when we're about to launch, but you'll be able to see it from there anyway. How long does it take for the ISS to do an orbit of the Earth? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, this angle's pretty tedious, right? If you can't focus in on it because of the atmospheric interference, then either put another plane up there that's tracking it, or air balloon or something, right? I know it's 100 kilometers and it's a lot of crap going down, but maybe they should have put like a slack tracker, a solo shot on the actual shaft that would track onto and keep focused on the tip. Wherever the tip goes, the camera focuses. The ISS travels very fast. They'd have to be very lucky to be in the right place at the right time. Okay, understood. So it would be a timing thing. But then again, isn't that everything to do with life? Life is all about the right timing. Life back down on Earth, man. It's all about the right timing.
1 minute warning.
So that voice you just heard there was cabin ground control saying that's 1 more minute of your 4 minutes of good times. That's 26 mil worth. Get back in your seat.
Minute warning.
Oh wow, you guys take a moment to do that. Okay, get in, we gotta get in.
Get ready for a sonic boom. Scared the crap out of me.
It's dark up here. Oh wow.
Wait for this.
2,000 miles an hour.
So what we're looking at here on both sides is the view of we're hearing the audio from the tip, but we're not seeing anything from the tip.
Everybody in?
First step.
What was that popped off? You see that? There was a little something that popped off. Is that another mouse in space crap?
Everybody in?
What was that?
2,000 miles an hour.
Hendrik, what's the command to go frame by frame on YouTube? Shift. What is it again? Shift, control.
Oliver, status check.
I can't remember this. Is it command? Ah, it's not command. Damn. Damn it. Sorry about that. Oh, shit. That's Okay, I don't know what the command is. I was going to freeze frame that. Kendall, honestly, I think the best part of this flight, memes aside, is that Wally Funk finally got her dreamer going on a space flight at 82 years old. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, that's my take on that. It's pretty incredible that she got that.
Copy, astronaut demo.
Shift plus and shift minus. Shift plus? Shift plus. No, it's not. Shift plus and shift minus. No, it's not that, dude. Maybe it's not in. I'm in the Brave browser. Maybe it's different. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Astronaut Bezos.
So now we get the. This is incredible, right? How this thing lands. Oh, we haven't had the sonic boom yet. Get ready for it.
Copy.
It's gonna frighten you. There's a delay. Boom.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live for our first UN flight on New Shepard. So far, a nominal flight. Our booster is about to return
Scared the
to its landing
crap out of
pad.
me.
There we see engine relights. The sonic boom.
That is incredible. That's absolutely incredible, right?
And booster touchdown. Welcome back, New Shepard.
Shift
A
plus.
beautiful rocket that provided a beautiful flight to space.
Yes, that's it, Hendrik. Got it, got it. Thanks, Hendrik.
First step, your booster has landed.
Shut up, Siri. So now this gets a little tedious, right? This is just them landing. Let's go faster. Shift. Let's just jump forward.
Stand.
So this just gets pretty tedious until they land.
Rocket will act as.
We've all seen parachutes.
Kind of spots.
minute and a half for a soft touchdown.
It has to be paused frame by frame. Shift and less than greater than. I keep going for the arrow key. Gotcha, Hendrik. Yeah, okay. It actually changes the speed here.
Just 6 feet above the ground, that cushion of air will puff. And
yeah, see, it's changed the speed. Okay, it doesn't matter. I just want to show you this air cushion landing. Pretty rad.
Almost like just sitting in a chair.
Yeah, this is pretty rad. This tech is pretty rad.
But I'm sure their adrenaline is pumping now.
So at the moment, if they hit the ground at that speed, yeah, it wouldn't be fun. 16 miles an hour. If you're not paused, it changes the speed. There goes an Inspire. Okay, thanks, Hendrik. We'll try it in a second. Check this out, though. 16 miles an hour still.
And touchdown.
That little compression.
Welcome back.
So let's change it, the speed. Let's just go back a bit. So let's go shift and greater than. That changes the speed again, Hendrik. I'm hitting shift, it's paused, and I'm hitting shift and greater than and less than, and it's not doing it. Let me just, maybe it's shift option. Nah, must be different on Brave.
And touchdown. Welcome back.
Either way, folks, that is pretty incredible, and I don't want to take away from the genius of what we saw. You might say, dude, you just made a mockery of the whole thing. I'm just saying what I see, and I'm not the only person to do that. It's very apparent what you saw there. Again, my take on it is not space flight and certainly not astronauts, yet a very interesting launch, very interesting design, very interesting concept. But like Hendrik said in the chat, when the SpaceX stuff gets underway, inspiration for that's going to actually be space travel in my mind. Folks, if you enjoyed this and you thought it was fun, please come back tomorrow. We'll talk about the Olympics tomorrow. Let's talk about the Olympic Games, because that's just started. Let's talk about Olympics tomorrow. But if you are interested, D-Live tonight, let's have a good time drinking some Jack. I got the Tennessee Fire. We're going to have a good time. I'd hope to see you there. Cap game, Jack time. Thanks for being here. See you yahoos later.